Can you imagine flagging down a waiter and being like, "Excuse me, my apologies to the chef." Like if you like throw up, you would perhaps then apologize.
It's not like my insults to the chef. Like it's not like
I'm sorry.
You're like, I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve my treatment of that.
That's one of my favorite things that I've ever said, to be honest.
Hello and welcome to Way Too Broad, a place for friends to talk about the things that they're really, really ridiculously excited about. I'm Hannah, and these are my co-hosts, Erin and Ben. Hi, Erin.
Hey, Erin. Hannah. That was a reference to last week when my sound was terrible.
Wow, great callback. Excellent callback.
Thanks. It's better this time, I hope.
Ben, hi.
Hello, Hannah.
Erin, I'm so excited to hear from you and to hear that your voice is normal now.
Thank you.
It's great.
Like I was telling you, Hannah, before Ben was here, Molly, I think, totally called what happened. I was telling her about it with my voice before she listened to the podcast. And, she was kind of there when tragedy struck. And I was noting how it almost sounded like I would talk and then talk over myself. It was weird.
Yeah.
It wasn't just choppy. It was like
it was
I would
odd.
say something and then say the same thing again in kind of a weird jarble. And she, I think...
Jarble?
In a jarble, as they say.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
Ye old jarble. So, the listeners don't know this, but on our Halloween episode, our super long Halloween episode with tons of people, we had been recording for a really long time, and then my computer just shut off. Mm-hmm. And I had this panicked moment where I thought that all of our audio, I was like, of course all of our audio just got deleted. Like, there's no way that it got recovered, but what happened was the whole time the computer shut off and then rebooted, and I was trying desperately to find a way to salvage the audio. Audacity was still recording, so it recorded like my whole like fuck, and like shit, fuck. While I was thought Audacity, the application was not open, and I was looking through my files to see if I could see like any temporary storage or anything.
Yeah.
But anyway, it had been recording that whole time, and so we were able to salvage the recording, which was awesome. And so what Molly thinks happened is that I might have pressed pause when we stopped for the flippy floppy, and then I closed it and then opened it back up and started recording on the same track. Molly thinks that it was still recording, potentially, in the background, and then it was, like, recording again.
Huh.
So it was, like, double recording on the same track. I don't know if that's possible, but it certainly sounded like it.
Didn't it go away, though?
What?
No.
I thought it went away later on.
Oh, no. There was the whole... It was like 20 minutes of good track, and then the rest completely terrible.
I was so sad about all the goofs I had to cut out, but you're exactly right. That's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
It sounded like sometimes you would like start often you would start a word and then start it again.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And but like weirdly when you said things that were like long and slow words like oh and stuff like that, it didn't sound like it was doubled. Right. But I wonder if that's just because like those things would run into each other more cleanly if you were double recording.
A single monotone no. My audio got splilched. What's the when you operate in Harry Potter and it goes awry? Spliced.
Oh gosh, I forget.
Jarbled. I got jarbled.
It's a good thing you went first last week. That was lucky.
Yeah, I know.
No, her whole section got cut out, baby Ben.
Oh shit! I haven't listened to this episode yet.
Yeah,
it was like, terrible.
Before we even got into Obsessions, like, and every...
Oh, yeah, we
like,
go for like half an hour before Obsessions. I forgot.
Yeah. And I didn't want her to be totally, like, erased from history on the track, so I left in, like, me, like, being like, Erin, it's your turn, or like, Erin, what's your homework? And then it would just be like, doo off to bed now.
it was basically like me in the beginning, and then I like completely disappear from the episode, except for like, moo.
Which, like, I have to share with you guys some of this you know, and some of this you don't, but, so, one thing I thought was funny was, I guess I was sounding kind of bummed about the audio that we lost when I recorded my little preamble, and Rachel, our cousin Rachel, shout outs to Rachel.
Shout out to Rachel. She should just change her name legally to shout out to Rachel.
Yeah. She messaged us and was like, Hannah, I was so afraid you were going to say there was like not going to be any more Way Too Broads or something, because she thought I sounded like I was about to cry, which I truly wasn't.
I thought you sounded fine. I think she was projecting. I think she was worried and was projecting those feelings on you.
But also weirdly, my mom texted me like the night that I posted it up, or maybe the morning after, and was like, "Hey, I loved the episode this week." And,
oh, I see what's going on here.
Did you like the episode this week?
I can't figure out why, but it was my favorite episode this week.
I tried to leave in some of the stuff that we said about Amazon because I wanted them to know that we're mad at them, but yeah. I couldn't really talk, or I couldn't really save any of the parts where we were talking in detail about One Mississippi without it sounding like we were talking to ourselves like crazy people.
Well, just to catch up, I was pretty pissed that they canceled season 3 of One Mississippi. The best, the finest damn season of television I've seen ever was season 2 of One Mississippi. Hannah's nodding.
Yeah. I am. I'm sorry.
Emphatically.
Which is not an audio noise. But I just want you to know, I didn't say that and then everybody like silently stared at me. Like Hannah was nodding. Fuck if I know what Ben was doing.
I was drinking beer.
Ben, you're drinking beer?
Mm-hmm. What?
Happy beer,
Thursday?
Called,
what are we drinking?
I'm drinking Left Hand Milk Stout.
Oh, that's such a good beer.
It's so good. I got a 6-pack of it when I went to my friend's house this weekend, and I still had 3 of them in my fridge. And then I was like, hey, we're going to do the What Are You Drinking segment, and I want something other than water this time. So I pulled one out. Also, it's so fucking good.
I love that beer.
It's like milky
Erin,
and smooth.
What are you? Well, it's definitely not vegan.
Yeah, it has lactose in it.
Milk.
Does it have lactose or does it have just lactic acid?
The ingredients just say lactose. Well, that's not the only ingredient. There's more ingredients.
It's fermented lactose.
Yeah, it's just fermented milk in a bottle.
By milk stout, I mean I left chocolate milk out on the counter.
I call it milk stout. Benny's milk stout.
Benny's milk. My apologies to the show. Oh my god.
That's great.
Erin, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a drink that I call the Ginny Weasley.
Is it like not that exciting and just kind of boring?
No, it's extremely Ginny, is just why it's called that way.
Oh.
Well, it's... Yeah.
Why it's called that way.
It's grapefruit juice with gin in it.
That's what you had last time.
I know, but I thought I should come up with a name for it this time. And it's ginnier than normal. It's like half gin. It's this highball glass with half gin and then grapefruit juice. And then I was like, I should call this a Ginny Weasley because it's red in color and very ginny. But I was like, it could be redder, so I added. So a Ginny Weasley can be made with grapefruit juice and gin, a lot of gin, very ginny, and then a
Just
splash
ton
of
gin.
and then I put a splash of grenadine in it to redden the color. But I would have, if I had instead put some Campari in it to make it more red. So that would have been a true Ginny Weasley.
I see. This is a fake Ginny Weasley.
No, this is a Ginny Weasley. The grenadine is adding a really nice fruity finish to it.
That is nice. Mm-hmm. You sure that's not the grapefruit juice?
Yeah, Hannah, I'm sure. It's
Say so.
It's making it nice and round.
I'm drinking two things. I'm drinking a Trader Joe's sparkling spring water that's called Berry Bubbly,
Oh.
which
Love Trader Joe's.
tastes a little bit like children's vitamins, according to Ian, but
Oh.
I'm fine with it.
I'm drinking a cranberry lime bubbly water.
Oh, nice.
It's probably
And then-
butter bubbly tap water, though.
And then Ian, even though this was a last minute decision to record tonight, still managed to make me a mixed drink, which is similar to what I had last time, except instead of, which I think I had to cut out. Oh no, I didn't.
No, that was in.
It's got the raspberry sorbet again, and it's got what's the other thing? It's got bourbon this time.
Oh.
Ooh.
But there's one other thing that's making it bubbly, but I don't remember what it is.
Is it sparkling spring
Ginger
water?
ale. Ginger ale.
Ginger
I
ale.
love ginger ale.
Ginger beer. Yeah,
Even better.
We never named it last week.
that's true.
I was having a thought about it
Okay.
when
What's
you
your
were
thought?
talking talking just now. It could be something like again, this is a brainstorming session, so you can't laugh at my idea.
Oh.
Except you can. You can't, like, tear me apart for it. Something
Okay.
like the hungover boyfriend, because it's a sorbet, right?
Oh.
You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Sorbet.
And it's ginger beer, bourbon. I don't know. Anyway.
Ginger beer. Ginger ale is good for when you're nauseous.
Right, which can be when you're hungover.
Yeah, okay.
You don't tell me how to be hungover.
It is also red. We could do something Weasley related.
Yeah, that's true.
Which one gets drunk a lot?
Ron.
Do
And
any-
it gets hangovers.
Just Ron?
I don't know.
I was thinking like it could be like a Fred Weasley.
Okay.
Which one loses an ear?
What?
What?
Which one loses the ear? I think it's Fred.
I think that
I
sounds
don't know.
right. Which twin?
Yeah, which twin?
Well, George dies, right?
Or is it Fred that dies? I
Goodness.
just can't tell them apart.
I just found out today that two people that I thought I knew at work have never read the Harry Potter books or seen the movies.
Thought I knew.
Yeah.
I thought two people I thought could be friends.
It's a tough sell to get a full-grown adult who has never read Harry Potter to go back and read it, especially
Yeah.
read it. But
That's a lot of reading.
it's a lot of reading.
But they don't know that, it feels like a lot of reading. I could see how it's a hard sell. Because you're, basically, you'll start reading, and it'll feel like a lot of reading, but then you'll start reading, and then you're going to just basically devote your life to it until you're done. So it won't feel like a chore, but you will be sacrificing everything else in your life until you're absolutely finished.
I mean, yeah, you can still do other things, but
you
it'll
won't-
permeate all of them.
You just won't want to.
You just won't want to not be reading those books
Exactly.
until you finish them.
You'll, speed on the way home to, read your Harry Potter books again.
By the way, Fred is the dead one, and we should have remembered that because his name rhymes with dead.
Oh, fuck. It's a handy mnemonic device, even.
Oh, man.
So let's call
future
it Drink
reference.
Red Dead Fred.
Oh,
Okay.
it's
that's
beautiful.
Great. That's amazing.
Because it's ginger
And let's
ale
call it
as well.
let's call it Red Dead Fred. Rest in peace.
I love that. I love that so
Red
much.
Dead Fred, rest in peace. That's a long name. I'm
And
into it.
every time you take a sip, you have to raise it in the air and say, to Fred. And then before you finish, you got to pour a drop on the ground.
Those parts I'm not gonna do.
There's a lot of rules with this drink.
Yeah, it's a lot of rules. I don't really have an outline. I'm wondering if we think that we should give Erin a chance to go first again, or if we want to continue doing our normal rotation and just let things fall out as they may.
Because you're afraid that my microphone's going to peter out.
No, I'm just wondering if you feel like you missed out on going first.
Oh.
Because the person who went first the week before goes last the next week. So
Oh, right.
technically you should go last.
Oh.
But-
I don't...
Should
I
go
never,
last.
I never paid attention to that, ever.
I really didn't either. I never know the order until
We
Anne
never...
says
Yeah,
it.
it's a surprise. I don't care. Do you guys have a preference?
My
Fuck
preference
no.
would be to just keep doing the order the way that we've always
Let's
done
do it. Let's pretend
And you guys, since you don't know shit about shit, like, when it comes to this,
Yeah.
I'm the only one who cares, clearly.
We just talk when we're told to talk. That's it.
I want to give a shout out to the only thing that usually makes Tuesdays worthwhile. I was thinking about it today, and I can't make a whole obsession out of it because, one, I've talked about it too much already, and two, I just don't know that I could talk about it in an interesting way for like 10, 15 minutes. But I hate Tuesdays so much.
Mm-hmm.
I've always thought of them as worse than Mondays.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yep.
Thank you. I feel
100%.
the exact same way.
Yes. Well, because like Mondays, at least you can like go in and talk about your weekend with people.
You're
like,
refreshed. You're well rested.
yeah.
All your laundry's clean, hypothetically. Theoretically.
Yeah, if you did it right. Which I
Hypothetically.
often don't.
I was going for theoretically, but I'm going to say hypothetically and theoretically.
Right. But, yeah, but then Tuesdays just suck. There's just nothing good about them.
It's landlocked. It's landlocked.
Yeah.
Yes. They're not far enough along in the week for you to feel like you're near the end. Like, and you already talked about all the shit you did that weekend. You probably didn't get enough sleep last night. Like,
Your
there's nothing.
coworkers don't watch Harry Potter, so if you can't talk about your weekend, you have nothing to talk about.
Right, exactly. Work? No.
Hobbies?
That.
What hobbies could they possibly have?
That aren't Harry Potter.
I don't care. If they're not gonna relate everything they say back to Harry Potter, I'm not interested. Oh, there was one guy who was like commiserating with me about, he kept calling them muggles, and then when I asked him what house he was, he said he was a Hufflepuff, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but, so the thing that like about halfway through the day, or sometimes like around 2 or 3, I'll like just log on to Twitter and I'll see one of the guys from Polygon tweeting about Awful Squad, and I get so excited that I have like 2+ hours of exciting PUBG content to watch when I get home, and all kinds of like fun, ridiculous games that they play. And sometimes Ian, if he's home on Tuesdays, he'll like jump into a game, and he'll because they do like fan games, like custom games, and then so when I come home, like we'll watch it together, and he'll like point out like when his name appears on the screen and on the map and stuff. Like it's like always such a treat. Like we just spend our whole evening just like excitedly watching the live stream from earlier that day, and it's like it makes my whole Tuesday worthwhile. So,
But I've ruined it for you by forcing us to have podcast tonight.
oh, I watched most of it before.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll finish
Okay.
it afterwards or whenever.
You hardly ruined it.
Good. Just barely.
Yeah, but this is a surprise. This is a silly surprise Tuesday recording.
Silly surprise Tuesday.
Not as silly as a Friday, but still
But-
very silly.
We got a little too silly on the last Friday one.
Yeah. My recording got a little silly. Well, cool. Shout out to PUBG and their Tuesday.
To Awful Squad.
Oh. Right. Sorry.
They play PUBG, but
My bad.
Get your
I knew
shit
that.
straight, Erin.
Polygon. PUBG.
yeah.
Awful Squad.
I named a bath mat after Polygon at work.
I
thought
don't
you
think
meant one in your house.
I have ever heard that sentence uttered. You know how every once in a while you're like, that's the first time I've heard that in my whole life.
Yeah.
It's probably the first time anyone's ever said that sentence.
Yeah. Well, I was
Yeah.
going to say that, but I was like, you might have already said that today.
I don't think I did. I don't think so. I work in product management. To explain, I might cut this out anyway. And what I work on now includes bath mats, and we got a sample of one, and it's like, I was like, how do you describe this? It's just a bunch of polygons. And then I was like, ha, polygons, and so I called it Polygon.
Oh, cool. So, do you like name when you're like on Bed Bath & Beyond's website or wherever, Amazon, and it like has a product name? Are you the person who's like naming it?
At this company, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Someday I'll tell them. And they'll be like, oh my god, I have that bath mat.
after you.
I'm gonna get a pink one made.
Would you send my bath mat?
What else? Homework. Oh, wait. Can I give you guys one more PUBG related comment?
Yeah, do
Yes.
it.
Literally right before I started bringing the computer in here to start recording, Ian won another game of PUBG.
Woo!
Yeah.
Woot.
Yeah, he got that chicken dinner, and this one was his first time being the last man standing on the old map since they've like officially released the game.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Shout out to Ian. Great job. Great job, Ian.
Great job.
Good job, Ian.
Great cocktail. The
Yeah.
Red Dead Fred.
The
Rest in
cocktail's
peace.
called Red Dead Fred. Rest in peace. Do you like it? He says yes.
Man. Pales in comparison to my Ginny Weasley.
Ginny Weasley is a great name for a ginny drink, but it wouldn't be a great name for this drink because it doesn't have any gin in it this week.
I'm happy with this name and this drink. So there.
What else? What's everybody been up to in the 4 days since we talked last?
I have a fun announcement. Last week I was talking about how we had just been snowed in for days and days and days. On Sunday and today I wore shorts and sandals. Hashtag North Carolina winter. It was a high of 70 on both days.
70?
Wow.
70.
What
Yeah,
the
that's-
fuck?
Yeah, on Sunday I was driving around with my windows down and my spring mix playing, and there was snow on the ground everywhere, but it was 70 degrees. It was beautiful and sunny. And we had like our porch doors open the whole day. It was great.
Wow. That's
It got
fucking
over
hilarious.
50 today, and I was like so excited, but it was also pouring all day.
Yeah, it was
Oh
gross.
no.
Shit was flooding everywhere.
This is pretty typical of North Carolina. What wasn't typical was getting a foot of snow, but what is typical is like getting snow and then like 2 days later wearing shorts. So,
That's cool.
yeah.
Thanks for rubbing it in.
You are welcome anytime.
Well, if that's all we've got for upfronts, we still have not jumped in on the whole Star Wars thing. I think maybe we should give it one more week.
Give it another week.
Really?
I still might see it.
I don't remember the movie anymore.
It's gonna be like trying to talk about Westworld with us.
You artfully edited that. I remember us flailing to remember it like way longer.
We really did way longer.
I was like, oh, that was pretty tidy. And I was like, hold on, I have a lot more memories of us like being like Ben saying something and us being like, who is that? Oh my god. And Kylie posted an Instagram post of her, like, sketching a character, and I was like, that's such a good sketch. And I was like, who's that character? I gotta look it up! And then I was like, oh yeah, that person. That entire character.
From Westworld?
Yeah, on Instagram.
Shout outs to Kylie. I want to see it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Instagram.
She's right there in the room.
I
She
know.
didn't show you.
Look at the freaking Instagram.
She never. I mean, I could look at the actual drawing. Kylie, give me your sketchbook.
Oh my god.
I didn't know you drew a Westworld character. Who'd you draw? What are you looking at me like that for? Did I know you drew a Westworld character?
Oh, I remember her.
Did you show me?
I loved her.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Armistice.
We're having Westworld amnesia. Westworld and Westworld related things amnesia.
No, I remember Armistice. I loved her.
Yeah. But it sounds like Kylie might have showed Ben this drawing, and he just didn't remember it.
Oh, yeah. I remember this.
That tattoo's pretty memorable.
Yeah. This is a really good drawing, too.
Yeah, it is.
Kylie's a really good drawer.
That's true.
Friggin' shout out.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a visual arts minor. Did you guys know that?
No.
Friggin' amazing.
Yeah.
Freaking amazing. What a cool lady in general. But also that is really cool.
Yeah, in specific.
She's specifically and generally very cool.
I just have a quick... I've been reading like a Ben. I read like 2 books this weekend. I finished 2 books, so I guess I read like 1 book this weekend. Maybe that's not quite Ben level, but...
I've been reading pretty slow lately,
Ha!
to be honest.
You stole his powers.
Yeah, you took...
We're going to change the term to reading like an Erin, which really does not have the same ring to it at all. Reading like a Rin. Nope.
Reading... No, there's nothing there.
Moving on.
Well, Ben is up first this week. I don't know if we want to jump in.
I have a quick anecdote I want to tell you. I just remembered.
Okay.
Today, I'm walking to work, and there's this stretch of passage. There's this, like, walkway that is kind of narrow, and it's made of, like, concrete, and there's a rail. So it's, like, maybe 2 people can walk side by side on it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And once you're walking on it, there's, like, 1 spot to get off to walk an alternate way, but there's really no way to, like, change paths for a really long time. Okay? Mm-hmm. Because it's just, like, there's a metal railing there. And so part of the path, like, really far along was blocked off, but there's no, like, way to go around it because you're stuck between a wall and a metal rail. Mm-hmm. You'd have to, like, walk really far back up and then take an alternate route. And so it was just, like, a cone, 2 cones with some caution tape, and I couldn't see what they were blocking off, so I just decided to duck under the caution tape. Mm-hmm. But I was wearing my backpack, and I ducked under, but not far enough, and the caution tape slipped into... So my zipper, you know, every zipper has, like, the part that's actually zipping with a little hook on it with which your little tassel is attached to.
Yeah.
But that hook is not completely closed.
Yeah.
It's got a little opening, and the caution tape slipped up under that
Oh my
opening
God.
into the hook with the tassel while I was in a full crouch. And I didn't know that had happened. I just knew that I was stuck on the caution tape, but I knew no matter how deeply I crouched. And so I was crouching, I was deeply squatting and bending and swaying one way or another to try to, like, I assumed it was just, like, caught on the top of my backpack. So I thought I could, like, move one way, and that didn't work. And I'm deeply, deeply squatting at this point, swaying. And there's this man approaching me, and he has his head... throws his head back and he's laughing at me. And he's like, and he explains what happened and he unhooks me. And then I look down and it turns out, like, underneath, right under the caution tape, was a fresh patch of cement.
Oh, no!
Which is what they were cautioning, I suppose. But that's exactly where I was trapped in my deep squat, swaying back and forth. So... when I left, that was coming into work, and so when I left work, I went the same way. The caution tape was gone, but I noticed that my footprints are, like, all up in the cement.
Wait,
And you can see, like, what?
Did you just go into work with cement on your shoes?
It was kind of... no, I checked my shoes at the time, and they were fine, but I definitely did leave some prints, and it's kind of, you can kind of see my squat struggle, like in like my.
Oh my god!
So that happened today. I was grateful that the man who caught me was good humored. At no point was I could take my backpack off and I was like trying to resolve the problem without having to take my backpack off.
Well, I like the way you told it, that was my first thought, but when you said, like, I didn't know it had gotten in that hook, like, how would you ever assume that that's what happened?
Right,
yeah, that's
you would think
wild.
that it's, like, resting on top, or, like, I had to, like, caught between maybe the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope. So anyway, that happened today.
That's
amazing.
insane.
And now there's a monument to your
Squat struggle.
laziness.
I feel really excited. And I was in shorts the whole time, like squatting deeply in shorts, I don't know.
Also, didn't you say sandals too?
Yeah, and sandals, my chacos.
Oh my god. Sandals and cement.
It wasn't like, I didn't sink down. It was definitely very surface level. But it was still, I marinated in the wet cement. Just couldn't have participated in it more.
That's a great story.
Thanks.
You should
Okay,
have a podcast or something.
Is me now?
Yeah, it's you.
It's you.
My obsession is fresh. And that it started yesterday.
Fresh.
Well, actually, it's something that Kylie and I...
Oh, I thought it was fresh. I was like, what's fresh?
Fresh started
No,
yesterday.
I'm teasing it a little bit before I reveal what it is.
Gotcha.
We all love Fresh, Erin. Fresh is amazing.
Fresh is the best. You don't like Fresh?
You haven't heard of Fresh.
It's a TV show that Kylie and I have wanted to watch for a while. Talking about Fresh now.
Wait, pause.
Yeah.
I forgot something very important that I have to tell you.
Okay.
Ian and I watched the entirety of Mrs. Maisel this weekend.
Oh, really? Did you like
great.
it? Isn't it awesome?
Loved it. I was like, it's over! Like,
Yeah, same.
when
We
it
were
was
really
over.
upset.
Okay, sorry. Go on.
I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, so my obsession is another TV show this week. It's something Kylie and I have wanted to watch for a long ass time. And haven't. Kylie, used to watch it when we were younger. And then she stopped. And it's a show that is on Hulu, but only the most recent season is. And I've teased enough. The show is called Modern Family.
Modern Family!
It's so fucking good.
I haven't seen it, but every single clip I've seen of it has made me just lol.
And the best part is those aren't isolated. You know how some shows have signature laugh out loud moments that get clipped all the time and everyone sees them. Mm-hmm. Modern Family it's one of very few shows where in every single episode I'm consistently laughing out loud for most of the episode. It's just so fucking funny.
I love that. It's the best feeling.
For people that don't know about it, it's a sitcom. I think it's an NBC show. I don't actually know. But it's basically right. About a big family, 3 different branches of it. There's the patriarch of the family, this guy named Jay. He's in his 60s and he has a young hot wife played by Sofia Vergara, Colombian wife.
Vergara.
Yeah. And then a stepson, her son, who's a little kid named Manny. And then there's his daughter and his son each have their own family. Her daughter has a husband and 3 kids, and then his son is gay, has a boyfriend, and an adopted daughter from Vietnam. So it's a big, complicated family, basically. And it's so sweet, because, they're, sitcom dysfunctional, but then, every episode kind of ends in them, loving each other and being, good to each other in spite of things on the surface and, little disputes. It's just real nice. And it's so fucking funny. I can't stress it enough how hilarious this show is.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it, pretty much. But I've never actually... I've watched, like, maybe one episode ever.
It's so funny that you mentioned it. I was just wondering where you could watch that, because I saw, like, an animated GIF of it or something, and I was like, it's always been on my list.
Yeah,
to watch.
that's exactly where we've been, too, for, like, a while. And the other day, Kylie was just like, you know what? I'm going to find a website online where we can watch it. And she found it pretty quickly, and it's, like, good quality. And it's not like it's not a real, it's the fucking word I'm looking, sketchy. It's not a real sketchy website or anything. It's like, it's not legit because it's probably stolen, but they're not anywhere else. So.
Oh, they're not, it's not on Hulu.
It's only season 9 is on Hulu.
Oh.
Yeah, which
but
is
you
like,
can't, like,
Start
find
from
the other
beginning.
stuff.
Right.
No. I'll send you a link to it if you'd like. Because
Yeah,
I want
please do.
everyone to watch it. It's so good.
The way that you described interacting with it, Erin, reminds me kind of the way that my friend Matt talks about. Well, so I'm a huge fan of Parks and Recreation, which was on around the same time. Is Modern Family still running?
I think so, yeah.
So Parks and Rec is not, obviously, but it's sounds like maybe part of why I didn't watch Modern Family was that, like, I felt like it had a lot of similar themes to Parks and Rec, and I, like, felt loyalty to Parks and Recreation, which is silly because, like, it's not like I only have 1.5 hours worth of my time to give to television every whatever.
They also don't sound related.
Yeah,
at
they're
all.
not that similar.
They are, though, because of like the overarching thing. Like, it's not a family, but it's like an ensemble cast. It's very dysfunctional, but in the end, they all love each other, and there's this, like, warm fuzziness to it also. And it's jam packed full of really funny jokes in the same way.
Fair
where it's
enough.
also one of the only shows that I find myself just, like, laughing out loud.
Yeah, that's
all
true.
the time.
That's very
That's
true.
kind of like a 30 Rock thing, too, though. Like,
Yeah.
that's the same kind of premise. That's
Yeah.
also a show I fucking love.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah,
it's
that's
off
a great
Netflix
show.
now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Rock?
I think the whole thing. I think I did a pretty recent rewatch of the whole.
No, I think it's gone now. Is
series.
what I was saying.
Oh, it's gone.
Oh,
I don't
dang.
know.
But what I was going to say is that Matt has not seen Parks and Rec, and when I talk to him about it, he, like, rolls his eyes at me, and he's like, at this point, I've seen so many, like, hilarious gifs of it on the internet, it's like, I've seen it. And I'm like, dude, you have
no.
not scratched
No
the surface.
fucking way.
That's
Yeah.
not how I feel at all, just to be clear. I was just like, it reminds me that, because they're always, like, spot on when I'm looking for, so it reminds me that I need to watch it.
That is sort of, like, I'm calling myself out a little bit, because that is somewhat how I've felt about it. Not in the same sort of cynical, rude, don't listen to your friends kind of way that Matt does it. But he doesn't listen to this, so I'm just talking
Fuck
shit.
Matt.
Fuck that guy.
But yeah, no, I will watch it. I take a recommendation from you after what happened with Mrs. Maisel this weekend. I take your recommendation seriously.
For the first time.
Finally.
Episode 22 is where it happens.
22 years.
That's how old I am.
Yeah.
Hey,
Holy
wow.
shit. I'm gonna be 23 this year. Isn't that crazy?
Damn. That was my favorite year so far. I wouldn't say that. I had a really good 23rd year.
Mine could be good. We'll see. I had a stress stream last night about getting into grad school.
You should record it and send it to
Oh yeah, you should.
our new
It's
favorite
not-
dream podcast.
It's not
So
that
dreamy.
exciting though, and I don't remember that much of it.
I find stress dreams to be the least interesting only because they're usually just like your life, but it goes worse.
That's
You know-
exactly what it was.
I had a series of really interesting stress dreams when I used to be a vegetarian and a vegan. I would have a dream. I had like a whole series of these, and the dream would consist only of me when I was a vegetarian eating an entire hot dog. And the moment I finished the last bite, I would remember that I was a vegetarian and like feel really guilty, or like eat an entire pint of ice cream, be enjoying the whole thing, and the moment I finished the last bite, remembered that I was a vegan and be like riddled with guilt. Isn't that funny?
Hilarious. Mine
That
was
is
a lot
very
less
funny.
funny than that. It was just I had a dream that I heard from like every grad school I applied to one by one and didn't get into any of them. And then like it got to the point where the last one I was waiting to hear for was MIT, which is like the farthest reach, like the hardest one to get into. And so it was just like this desperate feeling of that was my only chance now to go to grad school, but I knew I probably wouldn't get into any of the others.
Oh,
And
God.
yeah, it was just upsetting. And then I got an email from MIT today, not that I got in, but saying that I'll find out by the end of February.
Wow.
February, which is like much sooner. Well, not much sooner, but sooner than I thought. So
Wow.
we'll
That's
see.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's really exciting. Is that where you want to go?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
Well,
Where is MIT? Is it
Cambridge.
in Boston? I was in Cambridge. Cool.
nobody's gonna say no to you, Ben. You're the baby. Gotta love you.
I didn't
Sweet
put
baby
that
Ben.
in my personal statement. Should I have?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Obviously. You should have
Everybody
had
loves a
Hannah write-
dinosaurs reference in your grad school application.
You should have had Hannah write the whole thing.
Yep. My name's Baby Ben.
Good start.
And I'm here
Oh.
to say I want to go to grad school in a major way. That's a good obsession, Ben.
That reminds me that there's this thing I've been saying to Kylie. Sometimes she'll like ask me what I want to do when we're just like sitting around, and I never feel like answering, so I just come up with like dumb things to say. And the thing I've been saying lately a lot, for solely the reason that it rhymes, is eat ass and pass gas.
Wow. That's quite the mixture of things. It's quite a medley of desires.
For some reason, I knew Hannah would find that as funny as I do.
Well, here's how. Because for like a year of my life, I insisted on calling our local grocery store Stop and Shop Shop and Poop instead. And Ben was the only other person who ever laughed at it.
You
Mom
guys.
didn't think it was funny at all.
The rhyme thing made me remember this amazing thing that happened to me one time. I hope I haven't told this anecdote on this podcast before. But Molly and I will say a name, like call each other something that rhymes with something else that we're saying. For instance, we'll be like, I'm trying to think of a good one. We did it all the time. Thanks for the hug, you nug, or something like that, right? Like, or what you doing, booing? Something like that. So we do that all the time, you know. And one time we had sushi, and I think, Molly ordered it or whatever. I don't remember. But I was thanking her for the sushi, which we call sush, and I was like, thanks for the sush, manoosh. And manoosh was a word that I made up entirely in my brain based on the rhyme of sush. And Molly just that day had started listening to Note to Self, a podcast whose host is Manoosh, named Manoosh. Like, that is a real name, and I didn't know that. I just, created a sound. It wasn't even a word. A freaking jumble of noises.
Hey,
that
that's
happened.
racist.
Oh, no!
Fucking collection of weird ass sounds, and they call it a fucking name.
I'm so sorry. That's not what I meant. What I was doing was just creating a noise. But
Yeah.
it was the name of her podcast host. Isn't that fun?
That is fun. You have told that story before.
On the podcast?
On Snack?
Maybe not. If Ben hasn't heard it, maybe not.
I don't
maybe
remember
you just
it.
told me. Yeah, because I remember because I immediately was like, oh, like Manoush Samarodi, because I also
Oh, right.
listen to that podcast.
Yeah.
Or I used to.
Are you struggling with something?
Pause, staring off into the distance. Let me narrate. Today my job is to fucking narrate Hannah's, wordless face.
She keeps forgetting it's an audio medium.
So,
It's Tuesday for you. Rough.
well, I told you that I usually prepare all day by speaking as little as possible. Today I didn't find out that we were recording till halfway through the day.
I'm so sorry. I knew since this weekend too.
I liked Note to Self, and I've fallen off of it because she is constantly wanting to talk about, like, it's kind of the theme. It's like kind of like the point of the podcast, but like about how technology is like kind of bad for you and you should be using it less, and like all this bored and brilliant stuff. And she's like, now it's like her big thing and stuff. And like, I'm just not interested in examining that part of my life right now.
It challenges me in a way that makes me feel uncomfortable, so I don't engage it with it.
You could put it that way. I'm just like, I fall asleep fine, and I have my phone with me until the moment I'm asleep, so I don't...
You're doing great, Hannah.
I'm doing fine.
You just don't need to change a thing.
Should we jump in to obsession number 2?
Yes, for fuck's sake.
Shop and poop. Is that obsession number 2?
Yeah. Okay, so my obsession...
Number 2?
Here's the interesting thing. Here's the interesting sneaky lead up to my obsession. I was not sure if I was still gonna be obsessed with this by the time we got to Thursday, but since we were recording today and I was still thinking about it, I was like, yes, I'm gonna do this, and it's gonna be great.
Good preamble.
Thank you. My obsession this week is a store that I went to this weekend.
Oh.
Yes. It's a clothing store.
And poo? Is it anthropology?
Oh,
with an A?
No. Please
and not an H?
It's not anthropology with an IE, not a Y. It's which I had to cut out, which was so sad. You have to tell that story again at the end.
Okay.
Did you say okay?
Yeah, I said okay.
Okay.
You have to tell that story again at the end. Pause, which made me feel like I was supposed to tell it in that pause. Okay. Yes, I'll tell it at the end.
Okay. So the store is a clothing store. It's called Torrid. And it's a clothing store that sells clothes for ladies, size 10 to size 30. And,
oh, cool.
Yeah, and...
sell fresh shirts for a new start?
Yeah, I did actually buy a new shirt for a fresh style. At Torrid.
Right.
I got gift cards from our parents for Christmas for Torrid because they know that I like it there. And the thing that's really nice, so like I've never had a reason to mention this on the podcast, but it's not something I'm embarrassed about, and obviously like you guys know this about me. Like I've always been like overweight basically, but like you know, I've reached a point in my life where like I'm like, you know, as long as I'm healthy or like working towards like a feeling healthy and being healthy, like I'm not like self-conscious about it. And like also there's a couple of things that really suck about shopping for clothes when you're a plus size woman, and for my entire life I've had to deal with these things basically because I've just always been like a little bit bigger than the average like person my age. And one of them is that if you try to go shop at a normal clothing store, you're not shopping by what you like, you're shopping by like what do they carry in my size. And you know what actually like is built to look good on anybody with proportions like mine at all. And so it really, really limits your options. And also it tends to be like a really frustrating and heartbreaking experience at times, where you just go in and you're like that time I was pissed at Target. Like I just wanted to go in for like one thing and I couldn't just find this one simple clothing item that I wanted. And that's annoying. And then the second thing is that the stores that are like directed towards like your size are they just sell like tents basically. Like they think that if you're plus size that you want to like hide your body or you're embarrassed by your body or all the things that I just said that I wasn't, or they're just like not like they're made in bigger sizes but they're not constructed with any consideration of like how to be a flattering garment for a person you know, who is a plus size person with confidence or whatever. Torrid, they're a little bit pricey, but every time I go in there, like I have my pick of anything that I want. They go to sizes like well above mine, so I can always like size up if something doesn't fit. I almost always like even like pick the right thing, like the right size off the rack the first time, which is like not that common.
Wow.
And then like also, I always like, I have so many options by the end that I thought looked nice on me that I have to like pare them down. Ian loves going shopping with me there because like he just loves to like to like be with me in a happy clothing shopping experience and like have me try all these things on and like participate in this experience that I'm actually enjoying, because he also has seen me in these shitty situations of just like trying to find this one thing and being so frustrated. So he it's funny because there is always like somebody else's husband or boyfriend there who is like waiting around, and he'll try to give like the like, hey man, this sucks, huh? Like to Ian, and Ian always like tells me about it later and like laughs at them, which is cute.
Chumps.
Yeah. But I just really always like find good stuff when I go in there, and I always like feel good about myself when I walk out of there, and I just like really appreciate that they exist, and they're expanding even closer to our house pretty soon, apparently.
That's great.
So yeah, so that's cool. And what else did I...
Can I ask something while you're thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Do you... I feel like I hate the term plus size.
I don't mind it. There's not like
I've
a
always
better
felt like
term.
it was weird. I don't know.
It's like kind of a minefield how to talk about. Like my favorite term that I've ever heard for most of our family is from our Uncle Al, when he called us like famine resistant.
Shout out to Uncle Al. I think he might be listening.
Oh my god.
I like that term. I think most of our family is pretty family resistant. It's kind of a family trait. I'd also say too, like and I might not be the right person to say this because I'm an incredibly short person, but you're also a very tall woman.
I am a tall person.
Is that true? Yeah, you're a tall person.
That is true. Do you need me to swear in or something? Like...
No, I was just thinking about like you having trouble finding clothes. Not
yeah.
like you're also like a tall person.
Yeah, it's true. Like I have like pants are a huge struggle for me because like my hips have always just been really, really wide, and my legs are like for compared to the average person who has hips my size, my legs are really long. So like most of the pants I can find are just too short. Like so it's just like it's just really nice to go in someplace and feel like you belong there, and you fall somewhere in like the middle or bottom of the spectrum of sizes, and you can like comfortably shop and just feel normal about it.
What a delight.
Yeah.
I call them birthing hips. That's what I have.
Yeah. Childbearing hips, I've heard that too. But
that's so great that he like loves to go with you and is such a cool dude.
He's so great. We went there on our honeymoon. On our way to the airport, we were like, oh, there's a Torrid in here, let's go in. And like bought me a dress on our way to the airport. It was nice.
What a delight.
Yeah. But yeah, I just like them. I just think it's just like nice to feel considered. And like their clothing is very flattering. So it's good.
I think that's great. You know, I've have been wearing like clothes from the men's section for a while now, just because you know that's what I prefer. But what I noticed when it kind of like switched over was that the quality of clothing is like so much better. When like just like the clothes I have lasted so much longer than like women's section clothes, and like they actually have pockets and stuff like that. So it's nice. It sounds like that's like well considered clothing and probably like well made and well, you know.
Yeah, I think it is. It's like not. It's like definitely priced like it is. I mean, that's the only downside. But they run good sales and stuff. Plus, like I got like 2 whole outfits this last time for like $20 because I had my parents. I had the gift cards from my parents, so like that was pretty awesome. Cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And I was wearing one of the outfits today, so it was perfect that we were recording today. I felt very confident and sassy.
Booyah.
This isn't it. This is a great t-shirt I'm wearing now. They just sell oversized t-shirts.
Very flattering.
They just like get me. This get my style.
Yeah, but yeah, that's annoying to hear. I mean, I'm happy that you're finding clothes that you feel comfortable in, but that's annoying to hear that we're being generally underserved.
Yeah, it's weird to find. It's harder to find like pants that I have to find like this weird mix of like since I'm short for anybody, I have to get like men's pants, but they have to be like extremely skinny. I have to get like the like skinny pants. Also really short. So it's like they exist, but it's this weird pocket that I have to always find. But it's out there.
It's baffling to me that it's like not standard for women's pants to have pockets.
I know.
Or like good pockets.
Right.
It's fucking wild.
And also the sizing of men's pants. It's
so
like
simple.
It's measurements.
It's measurements, but the sizing of women's pants is like completely arbitrary.
Just random numbers. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Just numbers.
Meaningless numbers, because you can grab a size 10 in like one store and then even on different sides of the same store and they're not the same. Like different, like it's crazy.
Cray.
It's crazy town. But that's mine. The end.
Nice. Yay, I'm glad that story
That's
exists
good.
for you, buddy.
Me too. So if you're between the sizes of 10 and 30 and you like good clothes, check out Torrid. Some of their stuff is like a little bit more aimed at like teenagers. Like they have like shirts with slogans and like kind of gothy stuff. And like they also have like lingerie and things, but they have a lot of stuff that's like really good basics and business wear too, which is also great. They like run a great gamut of styles.
Is it all women's clothes? Like women's style, I should say. Any clothes a woman wears is women's clothes, but
yeah,
like
I get picking up what you're putting down. It's women's style clothes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Traditional feminine style, I should say. Yeah.
You just tell me what I should call it, and that's what I'll call it.
I don't know. I don't have a particular agenda here, I promise.
But
I always, like, when I'm shopping in the men's section, have all these, like, prepared statements in my head, you know, of, like, in case I were to be confronted, which I never am and never will be. I live in an extremely liberal pocket of North Carolina. I'm in the men's section with, like, 40 other women, you know, my queer community.
What are your prepared statements for that happens?
I don't know. They probably, I would never probably use them, but you know, just about like any clothes that one wears is women's clothing,
Like, okay.
that sort of thing.
Okay.
That I would choke out emotional with my voice full of emotion and not say very well because I'm a fucking Hufflepuff.
I was thinking about you on Monday because I cried for the first time at work. I was having a really bad day, and this really generally nice woman who I had just sent kind of like it was not snarky or rude. It was just like I was just like something about like I would appreciate some understanding or something like that. And she called me and asked me to come into her office, and then she was like, "So I pissed you off, huh?" And like very like gently, like she wasn't being confrontational at all. And I immediately started crying.
Oh god.
Oh, no.
But like it was the perfect person for me to do that with, because she's like, literally I've cried like once a week since I've gotten here, and it's not the place. Like the place is not causing this. It's just like she's also a person who cries a lot, and we like commiserated over the fact that you can be a strong, competent person and also cry all the time.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
I'm not sad that I'm a highly emotional person. I think it is an advantage.
Yeah.
as it is with you.
Yeah.
I cry. Today I was tearing up because I was like happy about something.
Yeah.
I think also when I'm caffeinated, like when I'm excited, I have tears in my eyes, and when I'm feeling sentimental, I have tears in my eyes, and I also cry whenever I feel any range of emotion above, above the baseline.
Oh my god, that
is a big
reminds me.
one.
I was thinking, speaking of crying, you know how like our whole family, Hannah, is so trained to immediately start crying when the snow starts falling at the end of It's a Wonderful Life?
Yeah.
Or we all have different spots, but for me it's when the snow
No,
starts
we
falling
don't.
again.
We don't all have different spots. We all have the same spots.
Okay, all right. All right, well, that's the spot then. And I was thinking today about what are the implications of the fact that George Bailey not existing makes it not snow on that day?
That's an excellent and important question.
So I think there are two possibilities. Either it's some kind of like butterfly effect bullshit where one guy not being around changed the weather, which you could argue because like Potter
Jet planes
might have like added a bunch of industrial fumes to the air or something.
Mm-hmm. And
or
his brother
second
and the
possibility,
planes.
I think more likely, is that George Bailey is some kind of weather demigod.
Oh.
Wait,
who brings
but
snow.
the devil controls the weather.
Oh, this is a wrinkle I didn't know about.
In the Bible, the devil controls the weather.
Exclusively? That's only the devil does
Yeah,
that?
that's his thing.
Why would he allow sunshine then? You know why? Because then it makes the rain even worse. Classic devil.
Yeah, but what he doesn't realize is that without the rain, you wouldn't appreciate the sunshine.
Oh shit. Classic dumb devil.
We got him.
So, is George Bailey then a demon?
He's the devil,
He is the devil.
obviously.
Okay. Alright, sorry.
I thought
didn't realize that was
we'd
the
all
moral of it.
already made that leap together. I didn't know you were so far
I thought
behind.
it was obvious at the end that he was the devil.
It's a wonderful devil.
Well, I'm glad we settled that. Erin, it's your turn.
Well, that reminds me of something our friend Sarah texted me today, which I'm going to go ahead and share on our podcast because she doesn't listen anyway.
Ha.
She texted me today, I went to the bank to get checks. She orders me some and prints off some temporary checks. I say, huzzah. She says, what's that?
What?
I say, huzzah. She says, I'm sorry. Sarah says, huzzah. Huzzah. And the bank teller says, I've never heard of that. So that was the story. And then and Sarah texted me, glitch in the fucking matrix. The assholes running this nightmare need to get their shit together. I know the bank teller doesn't feel like an important part of the front end, but I can see straight through the simulation. Get your fucking QA team in here, or a focus group. Christ. I think,
Huzzah.
yeah,
Yeah.
is,
Oh, I have
thought
to
that was funny.
start talking about your obsession, but I do have a tweet I need to talk about related to that.
Okay.
But I need to find it.
I also think we need to, this is jumping ahead a little bit, but I think we need to revisit Rachel's email from last week because, Erin, you had some good commentary that started a whole new tradition that I don't want to leave behind. I just can't.
a whole new tradition.
Yeah. So we'll work that out when we work that out.
And that's that. All right, well, my brand new obsession this week, never before
Heard.
told on podcast. Well, told on podcast, never before heard on podcast. Molly and I are rewatching the Harry Potter movies on HBO Now.
Oh, you are?
We are.
I had no idea.
Well, we're rewatching them. We're almost done. We watched the first. We watched the 7th movie last night, which is half of the 7th book.
Oh.
So we only have one more to go. So this is something I talked about last week that couldn't make it onto the podcast because of my recording. But just, this is a rewatch for me. And obviously, I've read the book several times. And last night, Molly was like, have you read the last books? She said that to me.
Even though we've talked about it on
Wow.
Snack before.
Well, also, like, why would she marry me if she thought that I had not read the fucking Harry Potter books in their entirety? What kind of monster did she think she was marrying?
That's in the you gotta drop that in that prenup.
We don't have one of those, but
shit.
At least, and like, at some point in the dating process, you gotta like check those boxes.
Yeah. What's your credit score? Have you read Harry Potter?
Opposite order, though, in terms of what's important.
Yeah. Important, exactly. Credit can be mended. I guess you can read the Harry Potter
I was
books,
gonna say, but it's
how
a
do
hard
you get
sell.
those childhood moments back? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, and not only have you read them, but your commitment on keeping up with them.
Wait, so why did she ask you that? I missed that.
I don't know. Well, I was expressing doubt on if I had actually watched the last movies or not.
Okay.
Which I definitely have watched the first or the 7th movie. I don't know if I've watched the 8th movie. I won't be able to remember until I start watching it. We have a recorded history of me not being able to remember watching things.
I wish you guys.
And then she was like,
I had kept track of how many minutes I took out of us just like quietly trying to remember anything about Westworld. I think it was close to like 8 or 10 minutes.
This does not surprise me. I could go a whole hour. We do a whole episode of us being like, I don't remember that at all.
Which is that one?
Which one is Anthony Hopkins again? So I was expressing doubt on if I had seen the last 2 movies, and she's like, have you read the last few books? I was like, so casually she asked that. Maybe she was like asking casually sometimes how you pretend like you're not going to care about the answer.
Yeah.
You know? Like, have you been cheating on me? Like that. So anyway, reflections on...
Did you murder
rewatching
those kids? I'm just going to tell you. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Is Erin your real name? So, some reflections that I shared last time I'll share again. Still feeling true. They're, like I mentioned, they're a little different on this rewatch because I'm like more of a feminist than I've ever been. But it should have been Hermione and all of the books. Hermione and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Hermione Granger and the Sorcerer's Stone.
That's right.
Sorcerer's Stone.
And it could have even been Philosopher's Stone. They didn't need to change it to Sorcerer's Stone for us Americans. What, we're not going to know what a Philosopher's Stone is? I don't know what that is, but I feel like they didn't need to call it a Sorcerer's Stone on our account.
Agreed.
Yeah, she just gets a raw deal over and over again. Yeah.
I was realizing in the in Wizard People Dear Reader that he calls Hermione the Wretched Harmony.
Oh, no. I start that.
Yeah, I listened to chapter 1 and 2 of that.
Oh my god.
What does he call McGonagall?
You listened?
Hardcastle McCormick.
Yeah,
McCormick. When Wizard People Dear Reader starts, it sounds like it's just gonna be him like recording the first thing he thinks of over the whole movie, but I'm like it's so good
he times
and
it.
so consistent.
I'm like, how did you work out this timing?
And I think he must have pre-written all the scripts because some of it's like just so good. Some of it just had me in absolute stitches. Like he called the sling that Harry Potter was in on Hagrid like Hagrid's man pat. It's just like the subtle words he uses are so good.
Yeah.
So that was quite entertaining.
Totally agree. Hermione does everything. Harry and Ron do nothing.
And they just never learn that lesson. It's just really frustrating to see again and again and again. Harry is like, I'm gonna go out on my own, and then Hermione is the one who like packs the fucking bag or like casts the fucking protective spells around their camp. Like she's the one consistently who like they know like 2 spells between them. They know like Stupefy and Expelliarmus or whatever, and maybe the Patronus one, which is pretty cool. But like Hermione knows a vast array of spells that they don't. Every time she does a magic spell in front of them, they look like it's the first time they've ever seen magic in their whole life. Like Harry cannot repair his own glasses with magic, but he's gonna go out and, like, defeat Voldemort on his own? Like, that's his fucking plan? Like, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Like, it's just mind-boggling to me how he consistently he thinks he's better than her.
Yeah.
He thinks he's better than her again and again. And it's just so annoying.
It's so clear that he's not. It's just so clear.
It's just so clear. And then, just tell an adult is another takeaway.
Another bit of wisdom that we had to lose last week.
Yeah. Particularly in the first books, just, like, tell an adult. Again,
You're 11.
Circling back to the, like, you're 11, you know one spell at this point. Because at the end of the book series, you really still only know 2 that you have demonstrated to me. He can make polyjuice. Well, Hermione can make polyjuice. Right. So, yeah, those are her frontal lobe is the most fully developed. Is all I have to say. Like that is on that alone.
Yeah. Just get Hardcastle McCormick. She'll help you. The nearly dead Dumbledore will help you.
And Hagar the Horrible.
Yeah.
Just grab an adult.
Yeah.
Have you watched the 6th movie since we last recorded?
Yeah, I watched. Like I said earlier, Ben. We watched the 7th movie last night, so we only have the 8th one left.
Gotcha. Did you like the 6th movie?
Was it the 6th movie that you didn't like, or the 5th movie?
The 6th.
I thought the 5th movie was more unbearable than what the 6th movie was the Half-Blood Prince.
Yep.
That's the one where Dumbledore dies.
Yep.
I liked that movie. I didn't like the 5th movie. Order of the Phoenix.
I feel like, so last time I said I don't remember why I didn't like the 6th movie, and now I think I remember that it was because it was so different from the way the book went. In particular, the whole, like, Battle of Hogwarts thing that happens in the book, I think got, like, pushed to the first 7th movie instead. And it was, like, weird, because that was, like, the whole thing leading up to Dumbledore dying. Of course, I haven't seen these or read them in a long time, so I might be mixing things up, but, like...
I don't know about that.
About what part?
I thought that... I didn't remember there being a battle in the 5th book.
6th book.
Or the 6th book, at Hogwarts.
Yeah.
I thought that they got in, but it could be because they just watched the movie. Okay, before next week, everyone reread the 5th book. The 6th book. The 6th book, which is the longest Harry Potter book.
I thought, I didn't think there was a battle till the 7th.
I don't know, I thought there was, like, a whole battle...
This is fucking Westworld all over again. Alright. Okay, we'll do that. For next week, I'll read a whole book. I don't even know if we have Harry Potter in this particular house right now.
We don't, definitely.
And then the other thing you said was about that I really thought was pretty interesting for this moment in our history, Erin, was about Slytherin, Salazar Slytherin.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. So, like, when we have been recently talking about our Potter houses, our Hogwarts houses.
Our Granger houses.
Our Granger houses. You know, when people land in Slytherin, it's like, yeah, the Slytherin has... That's not a bad thing. It's cunning. It's, you know, it's like, it's not inherently bad. But then kind of revisiting the second movie, and I won't say... I might need to reread the second book to, like, confirm this. But Slytherin was a terrible person, actually, who was, like, a complete, for lack of a better word, racist, who created an entire chamber with the sole purpose of, like, killing non-pureblood wizards. So actually, like, his commemorative statues need to be taken down, and I think the house needs to be, like, retired. Yeah. Like, what about a Dumbledore house?
Yeah, or Slytherin's horse house. Did he have a horse?
A whore house?
Horse.
A whore house?
the stupid joke about Confederate statues. My apologies to the chef.
Oh, fuck. It gets better every time.
It doesn't stop being funny. I can't.
It never stops.
God. Also, chewing on ice is actually a really great reason to apologize to a chef. Because you're kind of insulting their livelihood.
Oh.
You know? You're like, I'd rather eat ice
I might as well eat water
than your food. That's why Ben said it originally. That was before we were recording.
Update.
And that was why I was thinking it, too. All of that. That whole reasoning is why I said it.
Ben was crushing eating ice, and then he said apologies to the chef. That's what happened.
Well, he was apologizing for muting his mic so that he could chew ice.
Yeah.
I'm really glad we got to the bottom of that,
we were
too.
trying to talk
Getting to the bottom of a lot of things this episode.
So many bottoms.
Eat ass, pass gas.
So many bottoms is going on my list of quotes. Hang on.
But Molly and I have been like watching these movies together and kind of like trying to poke holes in them. You know, like when Harry is being transported in the beginning of the seventh movie, everybody takes Polyjuice Potion to turn into Harry, and Molly was like, "Why don't they just take Polyjuice Potion and turn into like Mad Eye Moody?" And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." But then I realized it's because like they didn't want to kill Harry, and so it was like safer. More people would actually be safe. Yeah. Because then Mad Eye like died. I was like, that's why. Like killed Harry. So that was funny because she said that at the beginning. I was like, I don't have an answer for that. And then later I was like, oh, because you just died. They just killed him on the spot. That's why.
Yeah, JK did a good job.
How does Harry Potter get down a hill? By walking. JK, rolling.
Did you write that joke?
No, I heard it.
Still a good joke.
I might have read it.
Why put her on blast like that?
I was just wondering.
No, I appreciate it. I was going to not take credit for it if she hadn't asked.
I was going to make you take credit for it.
So anyway, we only have one Harry Potter left. I've been enjoying them.
They are good.
They are good.
I believe the last Harry Potter movie is Kylie's favorite.
Oh, cool.
So
does it have Angelina Jolie in it?
Sick man.
No.
It's not a burn.
Fucking roasting her.
Does it have any of the characters of Beautiful of an Everlasting Mind?
You mean Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
Yeah.
I love it. Like, so are you saying Beautiful of an Everlasting Mind?
Yeah.
I love the phrase you always use, like, doesn't even make sense in English.
But you know what I'm talking about.
I thought you were talking about A Beautiful Mind the first time that you said it.
Beautiful of an Everlasting Mind. Where am I getting the everlasting from is the question.
Eternal.
I'm definitely getting beautiful from the Beautiful Mind.
Eternal.
Everlasting
is like
sunshine.
everlasting. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful of an Everlasting Mind. Gosh. Okay.
Do you guys want to know? This is just completely out of nowhere, but I just looked over and I have this big box of Kit Kats on my desk.
Why?
With a whole bunch of weird flavors.
Oh, why?
Do you want to hear them?
Yeah.
Because, so it was about a year ago that I got back from being in Japan for 2 weeks. And while in Japan, the only souvenir I really got was a bunch of... They have like a whole bunch of crazy Kit Kat flavors over there.
I've heard that.
And I bought like all the ones I could find. They even have like... So food as a souvenir is like a big thing in Japan anyway. And so like every region of Japan has like their own kind of signature Kit Kat flavor.
Wow.
And so right now I have a box basically full of the ones I didn't really like that much, which are rum raisin, which is actually pretty good, sake,
cool,
and wasabi,
ugh,
and then Hokkaido melon. Yeah, wasabi's gross. My favorite was probably ginger. There's also roast tea, which
Oh,
was
wow.
so good. And strawberry cheesecake and
Wow.
apple.
Listen, if you like
And-
this weird shit, you got to check out Sweet Tooth Salary Man. Have I told you about that?
No, what is that? Is that a podcast?
No, it's a TV series from Japan on Netflix, and it's the weirdest shit ever. It's this guy, and he decides he's like a programmer or something, and he decides that he needs to get out more because he's so obsessed with going to all these dessert shops in the city. So he becomes a salesman just so that he can, like, once he's finished doing his work, he can stop and get a fancy dessert. So every episode is like him like doing, like, kicking ass at his job selling like books or something, and then going and eating almost always like two giant desserts that are like traditional Japanese desserts. Then they all look really weird, but then he also like has this weird like like every time he goes into these like fantasies when he's eating them, where he's like, he often sees like the dessert dancing around him, or like people with part of the dessert as their heads and stuff like that. But right before he does, there's always this moment where I'm like, he's got to be having an orgasm. Like, there's definitely something sexual about this. And like, I'll just turn to Ian and like slap him and be like, this is a fetish. And then like, we're like basically just watching it, like trying to analyze it to figure out if he's like getting sexual pleasure from this or not.
Oh, God.
Oh my god.
It's very weird and funny. Well, it's funny in like a what the fuck is going on kind of way. But also you get to see really beautiful cinematography of wild Japanese desserts. So there's that.
Why the fuck do we
desserts
only
are
have-
fire.
Why the fuck do we only have 3 Kit Kat flavors? Like, regular, white, and dark.
Yeah, it's some bullshit. And then
That's
like there's a
Regular.
store in Cambridge called H Mart that sells like a lot of Asian food.
Oh,
And
we had one of those.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
They have green tea Kit Kats,
Oh.
but they're like really expensive. And the Kit Kats in Japan everything in Japan is super fucking cheap, and the Kit Kats were no exception. It was like $7 for like a giant bag of green tea Kit Kats. It was so good. I miss it
Dang.
so much.
So if we are down with it, I'd like to jump in to. We don't so much need to read this email again, although it's really quick. Maybe I will, but I wanted to give you a chance to mention your thoughts on the alternate universe theory with your pants, Erin.
I don't remember what they were.
Well, Rachel's theory was maybe someone replaced your real pants with new pants, but then you were saying how you think maybe the alternate universe theory is more reasonable because of what it's like to live in this world right now, and how maybe we're just in hell.
Oh, that's right.
We're in hell. Right. Because, like, the Mayan calendar.
Yeah.
And like, the end of the world and stuff. And we're, like... Or, like, my favorite is that we're in this shitty alternate... Like, we're in the alternate universe that split off on election night. And we were supposed to be, like, Madam President track.
Yeah.
But instead we're like, the Donald Trump track. Which is, like, the shitty, like... reserved for bad people. And
No,
we got that
no,
one.
that's not what it is, because
You're right, because our exact people are the same people
Yeah.
are in the other
exactly. But we are in hell, so
Yeah.
welcome to hell.
Yeah, and so this hell, as just I get an extra pocket, is the uptick
Yeah.
there. But I used it the other day. Actually, it was funny. I put a vitamin in it. Long story why I didn't take it at the time. I couldn't. I couldn't take it, and so I needed to take it later.
That was
and so
a long story.
Okay, I have a medicine that I have to take on an empty stomach, and I can't eat anything until 30 minutes after I take it. So I had to save this vitamin for later, but I was leaving the house. So I tucked it into my little new pocket, brand new pocket, and then I was at work later in the day, and Rachel, shout out to Rachel, mentioned my
Shout out to Rachel.
my little pocket, and it reminded me that I'd put something in it, and then I dug my vitamin out, which at work, this pocket is like right in the front of my pants. Looked like I was just digging down the front of my pants because it was really hard to get it out, especially from a sitting position. But even then,
Got up and been like, I have an announcement. I need to reach into my pocket.
But it didn't. Instead, I wordlessly, in my open office fishbowl, dug into my front of my pants and then put whatever I took out in my mouth. But if it was just a vitamin. But it was nice that, shout out to Rachel, mentioned it because I had completely forgotten about it.
Great job. Shout out to Rachel.
Thanks. Shout out to Rachel.
Okay, homework.
Do it.
Jarble.
Was I first?
You were first, Ben.
What did I talk about? Oh, Modern Family. Wow. Long day.
Oh, man.
Watch Modern Family. I if you have cable, you can probably get it like on demand or something. If not, there's a website that I don't know the name of, but I will give the link to Hannah before she posts the episode.
And if it looks legit,
and we will. Yeah, it's certainly not what ABC wants, but
well,
you can watch
NBC.
the show.
It was ABC.
I looked it up. I looked it up
too.
in the middle. It was actually ABC. Yeah, but watch Modern Family. It's so funny and so good. My Twitter is at NE Disco Greg. I post pictures of my cat a lot. He's very, very cute.
He is.
And I love him a lot.
It went from every day to a lot.
Yeah.
Just point that out.
It
went from every day to like every day, but I haven't been doing it every day to just a lot. You've really just like given up.
I'm slacking.
You just let it go.
Yeah.
I decided it was something that I just want to do when I get a real cute one. You know?
Yeah.
I don't want to
flood.
I don't want to feel obligated to post pictures, like take pictures of him when he's not being. I mean, he's always being cute, obviously, but like, I don't want to take the same picture a million times. You know?
Sure.
I want to post that fresh tent.
I'm sure.
That's right.
Right.
Slinging that fresh tent.
You gotta sling that. You always gotta sling that fresh tent.
That's it.
Cool.
I thought of a joke while you were talking, Erin, but I didn't want to interrupt you. And it was, you can't teach old pants new pockets.
I think you're absolutely right. You really can't.
That's great.
You can't. Okay, my homework is check out Torrid if you have one near you. If you are someone who likes or prefers to wear ladies' clothing and you wear between a size 10 and 30, they're an excellent resource for many different styles of clothing, and they have also a great web presence at torrid.com, so you can check them out there. My Twitter... Do I sound like a flight attendant again? I think I do.
No, not as much as last time. Last time you really did.
I couldn't take it out because it couldn't just rest there without being commented on. So even though you sounded like a double robot, I was like, I'm just gonna have to leave it. Yeah, and my Twitter is anthropology, like the study of people with
it's just like
an
the
H
store
at the beginning of it, not like the store.
Oh. I get mixed up.
The funny thing that I said last week that I couldn't keep in was that Molly had said something really funny the other day. She mentioned Anthropology, the store, and just when her and I were talking, and she said, Anthropology like the store, with an A at the beginning.
Yeah.
It was like Hannah's, whatever.
She said anthropology, but anthropology like the store, not like the study of people. Right? I mean, I wasn't there, but that's what you said last week.
No, that's what she said. I'm sorry. Last week I had it so fresh, and this is just a tragedy. It's just time we'll never get back.
I know. Shout outs to Molly, though. That was the main reason I wanted to address it again. Also, it's funny.
Yeah.
I enjoy the fact that any tent that I sling makes it into anybody's lexicon. Rachel and I were talking about that on So Dreamy. Oh, that's the other thing that you guys should check out of mine is my other podcast, So Dreamy, with shout outs to Rachel. And she this week, I think, is my favorite episode so far. And actually, we also talk about Harry Potter again in that episode. It's like Harry Potter all the way down with us, I guess. But I don't know. I was like listening to it on the way home, and like I caught myself. This is kind of embarrassing to say because it's like I'm listening to half the sound of my own voice, but I was like grinning like ear to ear, just like listening to us like doing the podcast, and like that's not my usual stance when I'm listening to most podcasts. It's like, you know,
is your normal stance a deep squat?
Just swaying back and forth, yeah.
In wet cement. A deep squat, swaying back and forth in wet cement.
That's hardcore.
You know, just a normal everyday stance.
So yeah, you can check that out any place where you can listen to this. If you search for So Dreamy. It's fun. We talk about dreams. I don't know if I said that. It's a podcast about dreams for dream people.
Whoa, does that mean people that live in dreams?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a very limited demographic.
Well, I mean, we're living in a nightmare right now, as we already discussed.
Oh, shit.
So
that's a kind of dream.
Yeah.
I had a weird dream last night that I wasn't myself. It was like an entire cast of people that don't exist in my life at all, and I wasn't myself in the dream. I was like in this weird... Has that ever happened to you? It was like, normally your dreams consist of people that you know or you're yourself, but this was like I was completely somebody else with people I've never seen before in a setting I've never been in before.
Weirdly,
it was like,
wow.
I would say
all
that's
brand new.
more common for me. Like,
oh, interesting.
I'm not myself that often, or I change perspectives a lot, and a lot of times the people I'm interacting with the most are not real people.
Wow.
That, as far as I know. So,
I think in a lot of my dreams, people I'm interacting with are real people that I know, but they look nothing like they actually do in real life. I just know who they are.
Yeah,
in the
or
dream,
also
sometimes
they shapeshift too. There's a lot of shapeshifting in my dreams.
Yeah, but I still know who they are, like the whole time. So that happens, but it's never like, I don't think it's ever for me like a random group of people. I also don't remember my dreams that much, so the fuck do I know?
How the fuck do you know?
Yeah, you don't know anything, Ben.
Erin, what's your homework?
My homework is to watch the Harry Potter movies on HBO Now.
Okay.
And reread them, or read them for the first time if you haven't. Just read the first one. Here's what I'll say to you. If you haven't read the Harry Potter books, don't read them all. Just read the first one. See, that's a trap. Because then once you read the books, you don't know how to read them all.
You've given it away right from the start.
But, listen, the first chapter it drags. Like, I didn't think I was going to make it.
Yeah.
The first chapter?
Yes. I did not like... The only part of Harry Potter that I ever was bored by was the first chapter of the first book.
I feel like that could be any book ever.
But it's not.
That's not true, though.
You're not true.
Okay, what's your Twitter?
I only listen to Ben and the Hillary Clinton universe.
Erin, what's your Twitter in this universe?
My Twitter's at Erin Byrne. I have a Instagram account where I and some friends of mine review lesbian movies, and that's on Instagram at Lesbian Movie Reviews.
That was my favorite part of my intro that I did last week, was me explaining what lesbian movie reviews was.
I liked it. I really liked that. It inspired me this week to over-explain it. Because the name is self-explanatory.
Yeah.
But it's fun to explain things that are self-explanatory. That was me explaining what was self-explanatory,
it's funny.
which is that it's fun to explain things that are self-explanatory.
It's funny because it's true. You know.
It's kind of meta.
That was Hannah explaining why what Erin said was funny. Etc.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for listening. We have a podcast Twitter These notes.
I think I preferred the flight attendant angle rather than the forgetful,
Drunk.
like you're trying to freaking remember Westworld angle.
These notes are confusing. I haven't looked at the notes in this section for a while. And it says, thanks for listening. Where to find more info on obsessions discussed today. Erin's Twitter, Ben's Twitter, Hannah's Twitter. We already did all of that. Past Hannah.
Then you just skip it wordlessly.
I did.
Well, you didn't now. You just read it out loud.
Why are you still lingering on that section?
All right.
Why are we still talking about
to
All
it?
right. We have a Twitter for our ear snack at 2broadpod, TOO broadpod, where we post up the episodes first before they even hit your iTunes or your phone or whatever. They're up on the Twitter. In case you really got to get that fixed just right now at whatever time on Sunday.
10.
Yeah. And also if you want to email us and let us know what you think of our fresh tent. It's way too broad at gmail.com. And if you had fun with us today, then leave us a review on iTunes or wherever, but probably iTunes. Or Google Podcasts, not Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We certainly do appreciate that. Okay. The podcast candle is extinguished.
It's off. Earlier she was like, the candle is on. I was like, is that how you normally refer to candles as being? We're on?